Greetings, friends, and welcome back to the 3 Minute Horror Show. Today I'm interviewing writer, actor, and filmmaker Jamie Grefe. Ben from the editing room here. I have to apologize to Jamie. He corrected me near the end of the interview and let me know that I've been pronouncing his name incorrectly. It's actually Greffy, not Greff. I apologize, Jamie. Jamie, welcome to the show. I've been looking forward to this interview so much. You're a very interesting character. I've done a couple of videos related to your content, and I'm very happy to have you on the channel.
Thank you
Before
very
we
much, Ben. I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, thank you. Before we get started, though, would you like to give the audience a little background on yourself?
Yeah, sure. Director, producer, actor in general. Maybe more of a cinematic performance artist than anything, but definitely very active in filmmaking these last few years. Screenwriting background, writing background, novelizations, novels, poetry, so on and so forth. Based in Los Angeles, and I like to keep myself as busy as possible, and I have a lot of ideas, and luckily I've found ways to get them out there into the world, and which is obviously how you and I crossed paths.
Yes. When would you say that your creative inclination started?
You want to do like a deep dive on this in some capacity. I mean, I feel I've always been a little bit of an oddball creative. I mean, even, whatever that means growing up. I mean, I have distinct memories. I have a distinct memory growing up of like sitting in the back seat of the car as we're driving down a road and, seeing a house in the distance, a country house, and really immediately being able to put my imagination inside that house to figure out what kind of weird, scary story would be going on
Hmm.
inside there. I mean, that was just like a childhood gift.
Yeah.
And I think when you grow up, you're kind of whatever shaped by whatever's around you, however you develop. And I definitely came up in a time where I wasn't inundated with streaming platforms or the internet or anything like that. So TV and movies were very special. They were very precious. They were very like magical they were magical things you
Hmm.
could sit down and really experience, and you could really find it was really once you found something unique as a kid, you could latch onto it because you treated it almost more like a treasure than anything else, like Toxic Avenger.
Yeah.
Finding Toxic Avenger for $5 at the store in the mall, and then it's unrated, and buying it, and then really enjoying it and
Hmm.
going, who is this? How is this? And having no context around it. So I really grew up in that kind of experience. And again, couple that with like an imagination that was very entrenched in cinematic, it had a cinematic scope from early
Right.
on, a lot of imaginary games, obviously, and so on and so forth. And then that just developed onward into life as I kind of developed. I wrote screenplays when I was very, very young. Um, they were more like stage plays,
Okay.
but they were definitely meant to be movies or TV shows, and I would write them in these big notebooks. And I mean, I have one here, and it's kind of funny to go back and look at it and go,
Hmm.
there's definitely like a through line in terms of maybe just the kind of things you're into as a child. As you grow, those things are still kind of archetypes
Yeah.
within you maybe. And so I've definitely been able to tap into that. So yeah, in a nutshell, just a very, very creative person. I've tried to do coding,
Hmm.
engineering, mathematics. And it's not that I can't do that stuff. I have a pretty good technical understanding of things as well, but where I really found that I shined was in the creative arts, and especially filmmaking and
Yeah.
pulling people together, because I can talk as well. I can guide people through. I can get people to do what I want them to do in some capacity, and I think that's a skill as well.
Yeah. What kind of a kid were you? Other than creative, of course.
Um, Quiet, very quiet. I
Yeah.
guess in the early years, I would say super quiet, and just kind of probably more retreated into that. A very comfy, happy kid,
Yeah.
very comfy, happy kid, just growing up, wandering around in the woods, happy to have friends around, playing in barns and
Yeah.
the shed, and really just that kind of That was me, and really rich friendships with other kids. Close to my parents. Not overly close, but like close enough. Yeah, and then growing, I think a little older. When I was 16, I for some reason I was very into music as well. Music was
Mhm.
huge for me growing up, alongside movies. So movies, music, they go together, obviously. And I remember turning 16 and wanting a bass guitar. That's what I
Yeah.
really wanted because when I was about 15, we had a really rich local band scene in our town. Cool punk rock, hard rock, progressive rock, probably a lot of weed floating around the city in the mid 90s,
Yeah.
among other things, influencing the high school population, the water supply probably. But I got a bass. I got a bass guitar when I was 16. I
Nice.
really wanted that. And I remember the first thing I did with it, my parents got me this beautiful used Fender. It was a Fender bass and an Ampeg speaker, which is
Yep.
huge. It's
Yeah.
like you know you've seen these things, but they're
I've got one
massive.
upstairs.
Oh,
Yeah.
you do? Oh,
Yeah.
sweet, sweet, sweet. Well, yeah, dude, it was this Ampeg
Mm.
crazy, and I remember I didn't know anything about playing a bass guitar at
Yeah.
all. Didn't know it was going to hurt the fingers. Didn't really understand the strings,
Mhm.
anything. But I remember turning on that speaker,
Yeah.
probably like getting shocked because it was this used speaker.
Yeah.
But then I just felt that really rich rumble,
Yeah.
and that connection to music at that moment was very visceral. It was very physical. It was very in my body. I mean, I could feel it.
Mhm.
And I started a band immediately. Like
Yeah.
within like 2 days, I had my friends were like, "Yeah, dude, let's do it." And it was crazy. It didn't sound good. It sounded awful, but we did it and we committed to it. And I think that right there was probably that was great training to be a director
Yeah.
and a producer because I mean, you think about it, it's like you're 16 years old, you're organizing a band to come together, you're organizing practices, you're preparing a live set because you know you're going to perform live in front of your high school.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be girls there, there's going to be like the cool guys are going to be there, everybody's going to be there. It's going to be fun, but you want to bring it 1,000,000%. And the beautiful thing about that is I was very drawn to, I knew right away my limitations. I'm kind of tone deaf in a way.
Okay.
I can't hit, I wanted to be a singer so bad.
Yeah.
And after that first show, um, this really mean this really like mean high school student was like, "Oh, his singing just sucks so bad, you know." And I remember that like stuck with me.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like
Brutal.
you're like a
Yeah.
vulnerable teenager.
Mhm.
You're like, "I just want to be a good singer." I didn't stop me. I still sang for a while after that. But I gravitated more and more towards understanding the bass.
Okay.
Um, and I think all of that really flow. Like I said, I think there's a through line, in what I'm doing, I'm still very much connected to kind of that relationship to to the art, but
Okay.
now it's a
Yeah.
camera and it's not a bass guitar.
Yeah. So I think that we're probably very similar in age. You look very young for your age. I thought you were a lot younger than I am, but yeah, I was.
I'm very old.
Sorry.
I'm very old.
Yeah, I'm turning 49, so I'm very old too.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
You're older than I am. But yeah, 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 very
Yeah.
similar.
Hmm. All right. So you started off as a writer. Is that correct?
I mean, started off as, yeah, like more or less, like if we're tracing it out this way that we're doing right here,
Yeah.
definitely like music, writing, was is interconnected because remember those screenplays were being written
Yeah.
at a very young age. I
Yep.
was writing lyrics. I was writing lyrics to these songs at
Yeah.
16, full like I'm gonna write out these lyrics, you know.
Yeah.
And oh my God, the first, I mean, I'm very worried that in a parallel universe, I'm some kind of serial killer because like the first song I
Hey,
wrote
Brian.
was like Brian. The first song I wrote was
Yeah.
literally like about a serial killer, you know. So um probably some like MK Ultra,
Yeah.
mind control like experiment like as a child or something. But but that was something that came through. What can you say? I mean, it's
Mhm.
like just who I was and who I am. But yeah, writer, absolutely. Sure,
Yeah.
sure, sure. I mean, I have an MFA in creative writing.
Okay.
I got that later in life, much later in life,
Yeah.
obviously.
But you started off as a
We,
professional writer, right? Like you were writing professionally before you were
um,
making movies.
I mean, professionally is, to be a professional writer. I mean, that would be, I wouldn't say that. I would humble myself and say I've never been
Okay.
necessarily a professional writer, but I have sold screenplays.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. I've had some independent publishing companies publish my works. Yes, I did a couple
Yeah.
novelizations.
Like the Decker movie.
Two of them, two Deckers. Yeah,
Oh,
I did
okay.
two Deckers. There's two of them. Yeah, the funny thing is the second one, Port of Call Hawaii, I think it's a much better
Yeah.
novelization,
Okay.
but it didn't get much attention. But that first one got a lot of attention. Yeah. First one got like a Vice interview, which was really funny. Um, yeah, and then selling screenplays to Cinema Epoch slash Cineridge
Right.
Entertainment, which is
Yeah.
Gregory Hatanaka's company, which led to down the line just
Yeah.
establishing a relationship with him and what he's all about. But yeah, a lot of writing was done. And the funny thing is, after I got my MFA was almost the time where I really well, actually, coming out to LA, I was still writing a lot of screenplays. But that's a whole other game, and it's hard, and it wasn't enjoyable. I just wasn't at a certain point. I was just really coming to terms with the limitations of that for me.
Right.
Um, yeah, and I just lost my connection to writing in some way.
What was your first foray into screenwriting? Like what was the first screen writing project that you created that was actually made into a movie?
So that would have been around 2013. There were actually four of them that
Okay.
came at once. They came at once. They didn't
Yeah.
come staggered. They were all at once. I've told this to other people before in different interviews, but these are all no. I don't think people are going to trace out those other interviews, track
Yeah.
those down. But I wrote a novella called The Mondo Vixen Massacre. Uh, very gnarly revenge, very femdom kind of experience, a very nasty piece of work by Eraserhead Press. Not too nasty, but light on story, heavy on visuals, which is
Okay.
similar to what I'm directing now anyway.
Yeah.
But that novelization was very inspired by Jim Wynorski's work. I don't know if you know Jim
Yeah.
Wynorski's stuff.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've
And
I've done some of
and
it. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, there's a lot there. There's a lot there. And Jim was one of these directors where I saw his movies when I was quite young. There was a film book that I read in high school that had interviews with him. I thought, oh, he's like the coolest guy.
Yeah.
He's got this like really fun relationship to cinema. He doesn't take it too seriously. He seems like he has a lot of fun on set. He gets to
Yeah.
work with beautiful women, so on and so forth. Uh, so I reached out to Jim, and he read parts of the Mondo Vixen Massacre or whatever, and I was going to novelize one of his works. And he said, "Well, how about instead of novelizing, he's like, I actually need somebody to write me four screenplays, like now.
Wow.
Like, do you have final
Yeah.
draft?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Well, you need to buy it now, and I'm going to call you tomorrow after you buy it, and I'm going to tell you what I want you to write, and that's what's going to happen." And I was like, "Okay, that sounds great. Let's do it." And those were four softcore features for
Okay.
Showtime or Showtime adjacent platforms. Two of
Yeah.
them sold to Showtime, millions of views on Showtime. Two of them didn't sell. So I mean, it was a really quick. Well, I got paid for all of them, which was good, and I did all four of them, and they all four were made. But it was a really interesting introduction to filmmaking because four projects came together very quickly,
Yeah.
and like I said, all four were shot. Two of them were sold and
Hmm.
distributed. Two of them disappeared into the ether.
Yeah.
One of them I've never seen. I couldn't tell you
Okay.
the title of it now. I couldn't tell you. It was very interesting. It was about like a mannequin, a warehouse full of mannequins, and then this woman, and then like a secretary, and the mannequins were coming to life, and so on and so forth. But Jim was a real hard knocks kind of guy with like,
Yeah.
this is what I need. These are your limitations. I need this to read just like this. Like, give me this and don't give me anything other than that. Like, this is what I need.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, they're good. They're fun. They're fun for what they are. I mean, the sex scenes are like the least interesting parts of the movie. I think
Okay.
every other part of those movies are quite interesting,
Mhm.
in their own weird way. But around that year, softcore just really stopped being produced. Like it
Right.
really was like a turning point in that whole kind of cultural shift away from that kind of content. So it was really the last wave of it. But that was the entry point into screenwriting, really.
Right.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Jim Wynorski, I was like,
Yeah,
I was
of
like,
course.
that's cool. It's like, thanks, man.
So tell me about how you got linked up with Gregory Hatanaka, the director of Samurai Cop 2, the celebrated director of Samurai Cop 2.
The very, very celebrated
Yeah.
director of Samurai Cop 2.
Yeah.
I was introduced to Greg through there was a producer out here, Christopher Cajornes, actor producer, kind of a networking guy, real kind
Hmm.
of really masterful networker who would talk to me every day. We would have daily, just daily, we would talk daily, and he would always try to like actually help me out a lot because he read my scripts and I think he saw something in them that other people didn't.
Hmm.
And the scripts are all very unique in their own ways, as you can probably imagine, given
Yes.
what you've seen of my work. That's
Yeah.
this way, but the scripts were scripted. I mean, they're like 90-page scripts, unfolding, girls go to a cabin, this thing happens, whatever, or sci-fi movie where this thing happens. Anyway, Chris would kind of see like, well, why don't you talk to so and so? You should reach out to so and so. Here's so and so's email.
Yeah.
And he put me in touch with this guy named Shane Ryan, and Shane Ryan did some kind of nasty features earlier in his career, the
Yeah.
amateur porn star killer trilogy, which Greg distributed, and I did a script for Shane, and it was about like a maniac cop kind of a script.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
it didn't get yeah, like something like that, and then I think Shane was like, "Well, you should meet Greg." And
Hmm.
that's kind of the evolution because Shane was working closely with Greg, acting in a lot of movies. Greg's very active. Greg runs Cine Ridge Entertainment is the
Yeah.
production arm, and Cinema Epoch is the distribution arm of the company. So two companies really, production and distribution. So at that time, Greg had pumped. He had done Samurai Cop 2. And then he was doing other original productions, just a variety of them for Tubi adjacent
Yeah.
platforms. And I met Greg. We got along very, very well. And I think after that, he's like, "Well, I'll reach out to you." And then he did. He did reach
Hmm.
out to me. But he's another one of these guys like Jim Wynorski, where he's like, "Hey, I literally need a script. We're shooting on Tuesday, and today's Sunday.
Yeah.
I need a Christmas movie and an action movie." And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, "Yeah, I want those two, and here's the details. I'm going to email them to you right after this phone call. Are you in or are you out?" And I was in. So I'm
Yeah.
in. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how it started. It started with that kind of chaotic. It always kind of starts for me. It just starts with that chaos,
Right.
and then after that, you're kind of thrust into it. It's a leap of faith for other people, and it's a leap of faith for you. You take it, you roll with it. But that was I mean, it was years ago. It was still 2000, early, mid 2016, 17-ish.
Wow.
So I did a
Okay.
lot of writing, a lot of
Yeah.
screenplays for him, maybe 12 or 13
Hmm.
screenplays. Yeah. But I was never sad at all. And I've written screenplays for Renee Perez as well, who's done some kind of horror stuff. I saw, came out here to LA. I did some screenplays.
Yeah.
I've written screenplays for directors that I won't name that never sold, but you would know their names.
Yeah.
Um, they just never sold, and that's a pity. That's
Yeah.
always what you're hoping for. You're always hoping for like those bigger ones to hit as
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. For
because you're
sure.
like, man, if I can just get this one to hit with this director
Mhm.
attached, hell yeah, like that would be cool. And I really get into that side of creativity. I like working with people, and I like working with people who are more creative than I am. And Greg is more creative. Greg is he's extremely creative. He's very smart. He's very savvy. He's very creative, and unpredictable. And so I really appreciate somebody like him. He can handle me in that way. So it's kind of natural that we've done all these movies
Yeah,
together. We've
for
done
sure.
a lot now. Done a lot, yeah.
How did you make
Um,
the jump from screenwriting to directing?
so there's a well when I was in my 20s, I was when I was a kid alongside the screenwriting that I mentioned to you when I was very
Yeah, yeah.
young, the
Yep.
notebook screenwriting.
Yep.
Um, a friend of mine had one of these like VHS camcorders, and we would shoot these little movies, and we would edit them in the camcorder, just
Yeah.
like pause, let's shoot this, pause, let's
Yeah.
shoot this. So that was very familiar to me as a child. We would put together like 40-minute um, features that we would
Yep.
just show just for fun. Really silly, but they would have some story, just kids being kids, really.
Yeah.
And then in college, that continued as well. In college was like the cusp of YouTube's birth. So YouTube wasn't even around, but we were doing the same thing, but on mini DV camcorders. A friend of mine had a
Yep.
mini DV camcorder. I was like, man, like I wasn't a big drinker, not a big partier at that time. I was just like, let's make a movie. Like we're going to so and so's house. There's 8 of us.
Yep.
Let's make a movie, and I was the director of most of those. And
Okay.
so I think that's just in my spiritual destiny to direct. And years go on, I write. Like I told you, not completely satisfied. Um, Really, like the moment to direct showed itself to me in a very personal way,
Yeah.
and I ended up making Sorority Girl Massacre,
Okay.
Black Static at the Moment of Death, which is on Fossil. And that would be like the first kind of proper kind of wave of this kind of newer work that I've done.
Right.
And Sorority Girl Massacre, Guts of Ecstasy, those two were the kind of like shot, weeks apart from each other. And
Okay.
they're very indicative of everything else. They're very foundational. I think if you see those two movies, Ben,
Yeah.
when you watch Anatomy Lab and Blood Rush, you'll kind of
Yeah.
go, oh,
Okay.
interesting. Like
Yeah.
this, like I kind of see this guy's coming from this space, and this is the weird space that this guy's operated in prior to kind of having a budget. Those were really, I just did them myself. I produced them myself. I
Yeah.
met the talent myself. I shot them myself. I edited them myself. I scored them myself. I do all of this. I do all of it still, but
Yeah.
I did those, and then Greg bought them. Greg, well, he paid me some money to
Yeah.
license them in perpetuity. And I said, hell yeah, just do whatever you can. Let's get them out into the world. Then I made a third one of those that I put out on my own. I think it's also on Fossum, called Ritual Examination.
Okay.
These are more, again, this kind of performance uh, artistry that I've kind of come to call immediate cinema, and that's kind of just this way that I'm
Okay.
coming at this idea
Yeah.
of what I'm doing, because those were done in a very precise way that I mean, I should probably say that like after I sold those to Greg, I mean, it's not easy to direct for anybody. Movies don't typically make a lot of money.
Right.
These streaming platforms don't pay a lot of money.
Right.
Money's tight all around. And if you're going to make a movie, the goal obviously is to make revenue, is to make it should make money, obviously. And so the Sorority Girl Massacre movies were really like art for the sake of art, and they were just really done without any. So my whole thing is I really like the idea of making movies that feel like this person has never seen a movie before,
Okay.
but he's making a movie. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I like the idea of a movie that can feel, it doesn't have to feel, I don't have to bend to something. I feel like for many years when I was writing screenplays, I
Yeah.
was so focused on, oh, it has to be 90 pages. Yeah, okay, 86 pages is the sweet spot. Okay, at page 20, you're taught all of this in every screenwriting book you'll ever read.
Yeah.
Okay, page 20 to 23, you got to have your first, your twist needs to happen there. And then on this page, this twist should happen. Oh, but be careful if you're making a Christmas movie, or if you're making a thriller for
Yeah.
Lifetime, it's got to have these beats, and everything is absolutely mapped out perfectly. And I wanted to. it was necessary for me to move away from that. So
Yeah.
Sorority Girl Massacre, Black Static at the Moment of Death really operates on its own terms. And Guts of Ecstasy, a little less so, but it's still Guts of Ecstasy feels more like a movie. Um, but again, it feels like a movie made by somebody who doesn't quite understand what a movie is because they're operating in such a different way. And I was very drawn to that. I
Okay.
like that a lot. It speaks to my aesthetics personally, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.
All right.
There's probably more I could say, but like
Yeah.
that foundation was definitely there. This idea of I don't want to necessarily call it experimentation, but the idea of making a movie in absolute kind of this different immediate way because my movies aren't traditionally scripted. So that's another thing I should
That
probably say.
that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that's what you're asking. Like, is he like writing out every single line in Blood Rush?
No,
No.
I was gonna bring
Yeah.
that up a little bit later when I was gonna ask, are your scripts largely improvised? Because I suspected that they were.
Yeah.
And sometimes that works out really well. Like I was going to talk about the creativity lab, the
Yeah.
play between you and the actress that played Hildegard. The two
Hmm.
are both of your timing was impeccable with each other, and you were
Hmm.
reacting to the things that were happening in the environment, and it was just
Yeah.
it came off really, really well. Like that's far and away. I haven't seen all of your
Thank
work
you.
yet. There's a lot of work to go through, but that's my favorite work of yours so far, just because it felt so natural and it felt like almost like you were taking it was almost like a fourth wall break, you know? Yeah.
The one you want to see before that then is Lazarium, but
Okay.
and I'll tell you why. But yeah, these are not traditionally scripted, and I think that's where like with the Sorority Girl Massacre movies.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, I've said this elsewhere, so if people out there have heard it elsewhere, forgive me,
Yeah.
but I'll say it to you.
Yeah.
Y- at one point, Greg did ask me. He said, "Hey, please write a script for a slasher." He's like, "I will finance that. We'll do a slasher.
Okay.
We'll get three girls. We'll get a mansion. You can direct it. You
Hmm.
know, you've earned it. Like, you want to direct? Okay." And I wrote the script. It was all ready to go. I was really honing in on who I could cast. I could imagine, finally, I could imagine every single scene as this is how I'm going to direct it. I
Yeah.
was just like completely learning, almost like it was like a breakthrough. And then that project fell through.
Oh.
It fell through, it fell
Yeah.
apart. And at that moment, I was not ready to admit any kind of defeat.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? This script didn't work. I still need to shoot, and I'm gonna shoot. And what if I extract out everything from this? Because I felt a lot of pain on that night,
Yeah.
and I felt like everything I'd been building up for weeks and months was just falling apart, and suddenly I didn't have any clear vision of anything. And I was like, well, I'm gonna shoot this no matter what. And so essentially, if you watch Sorority Girl Massacre, Black Static at the Moment of Death, it's a slasher told from the first person POV of what I call a liminal space killer. It's from my point of view
Yeah.
as I'm narrating, seeing the victim, and she's right there. And I thought like, well, what if, we always see like Jason, we see Jason as an object. We see
Hmm.
Michael Myers as an object. Absolute objectivity. They're moving through space, they're in a space, and then they make their kill. But what if we got really internal inside of them and we experienced an entire movie from their point of view, but not in a way that's just following them around? What if their internal space was so beautifully poetic, or it was connected to, and I was imagining this as a static, and I don't even know where that
Yeah.
came from, but it was just this, like, what if they were connected to this a static field of consciousness? What if they were connected to a greater depth? And like that's the movie I want to make. And I can shoot it. I know how to shoot it. And it's just all kind of,
Yeah.
I can all kind of see it. Um, so those movies are very particular in that way.
Okay.
Now, but then so what I did, those didn't have any script. Uh, well, Guts of Ecstasy had shots written out.
Okay.
So yeah, okay. So that was the evolution. So Black Static had nothing written out. Guts of Ecstasy, I made a shot list, and I had like 4 hours to shoot the movie. So I had this shot list, and I just read it over, read it over, read it over, and then I made the movie. And then I realized, like, whoa, Jimmy, you kind of hit like almost all of those shots. Like, that's great. Good job. And the way my mind works, I was able to see a lot of additional shots in the
Hmm.
moment, and I was able to guide the story forward in the moment, just like I did when I was a little boy, just like
Yeah.
playing with life and having a great sense of it. And all the screenwriting training kind of came up too, because I was like, well, I understand what a movie is actually. I really deeply understand the structure of a Hollywood movie or whatever, a horror movie. I
Yeah.
get it. Um, but I wasn't bound by it anymore. And I think that was so fascinating for me was, okay, you don't have to be bound by these things. You can actually direct. You can direct. And it was just like this opening inside of me. So then Greg said, well, he said, okay, well, so Sorority Girl Massacre fell through. But then he said, well, let's do a movie, one day. I'll give you one day because it's going to cost X amount of money for me to get this house, and
Yeah.
you can get some actresses, and why don't you make whatever you want to make your slasher. Well, I'll give you one day. You said you can do a movie in one day. Oh, you did these in one day. Well, I'll give you a day, but you give me two movies in one day. So I did. Love hurts, love never leaves, and I had to prepare what I call an action score or a latent script for the talent because the
Yeah.
talent was wondering, well, what am I going to shoot? Because I was like, we're going to do an unscripted horror movie,
Yeah.
well, what am I going to do? And I was like, okay, well, let me send it to you. I said, give me an hour.
Yeah.
Let me email you. So I wrote out all the shots I wanted to get,
Yeah.
and I would put together like this like inspirational playlist on YouTube. Like, this is my inspo. This is your character. This is the framework of the story.
Yeah.
Um, this is my goal, but I'll probably improv around this. You're always welcome to turn anything down, anything you don't want to do. I want to make the movie. The
Yeah.
movie is first and foremost. I want your total commitment on this. I'm gonna want you to scream and cry. I'm gonna want you to just fucking be ugly.
Yeah.
You got to be ugly. I don't care about your beauty. You're beautiful, but I want you to just strip everything away, and I'm gonna be there with you. We're just gonna go there, and let's if you want to go there with me, I'll get the movie made. Yeah, sounds great. Because actors are looking to act.
Yeah.
It's when you're an actor in Los Angeles, it's I don't know what people think it is, but it's not what people think it is. There's a lot of creativity out here. People want to perform, they want to act. But the idea is the gigs they're getting might be music videos, commercials,
Yeah.
background work. Well, this stuff all sucks. Okay, it's
Yeah.
not creative. You're just somebody on a set, not really doing much of anything. Then you get like verticals. Verticals are really big. You've
Yeah.
tapped into
Those
that
dramatic
on some of your
shorts.
what
Yeah. Hmm.
managers. Verticals, you can make money on those.
Yeah.
It's soap opera. It's very cheesy. They're very they operate on their own terms. They're
Yeah.
their own production companies, whatever. Okay, you want to do verticals, but that's a very limited pool of people as well. Now, if you want to work with me, this is what I've done, this is what I do, and we'll get into it. Like, we'll make movies. Like, we'll make a movie, and you're free to see every single thing I've done.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it? And some people get it. Like the women I work with, the men
Yeah.
I work with, they get it. They're like, yeah, like not all of them get it, but 90% of the time, I'm very good on my intuition. Like you said, like Dance the Kung Fu. Well, that's Dance the Kung Fu. So Creativity Workshop, Dance the Kung Fu was one
Yeah.
shoot. I just
Right.
had enough material to cut it into two movies.
Okay.
Um,
I haven't had a chance to watch Dance the Kung Fu yet. I
yeah,
will.
you might like that. Well,
Yeah.
Lazaria might be the one where you go back and watch Lazarium. I
Okay.
mean, it's Film Threat doesn't consider it a movie, and
Okay.
I had to kind of make peace with this early on too, because I grew up with Film Threat, the magazine, and
Yeah.
they had like these cool VHS mail order.
Yeah.
I ordered VHS from them when I was young. And I was like, damn, Film Threat's got the cool shit.
Yeah.
And then they emailed me after we submitted Lazarium to be
Yeah.
reviewed, and they said, Jamie, we can't find any of our critics. No critic on our entire staff will give this a positive review. Everybody hates it.
Cool.
And I said, oh. wow. I said, okay, well, thanks for telling me. I said, well, then why don't you just go full, be
Full
as
negative.
critical,
Yeah.
I said, be absolutely ruthless then. I said,
Yeah.
just be as like, and then if you read the review online, it's pretty bad. Yeah, they didn't like it. That movie though, for me was very tremendous. That was a tremendous experience because, every movie before Lazarium, I was wearing a mask. So
Right.
I perform the killer in these movies because
Yeah.
I know how I want to do the killer. And this was something that like, was irking me early on. I had somebody, a friend of mine who, great actor, but he wanted to be the killer in one of my movies. He's like, "Oh, I'll be the killer. I'd love to be the killer. I loved slasher movies." And I was like, at first, I was like, "Ding, okay." But you got to realize something when you're a director, you have to do two things as you direct, and you have to be direct, and you have to be completely honest.
Yeah.
And so inside of me, the minute I told him he could be the killer, I felt this twinge of like, he's not going to do it the way I want it to be done. Only I know how to be the killer on my movies. At that point. Now it could be different. I don't know. But it depends on every movie is different. But I knew I wanted to be the killer. And I was like, Jamie, this is your chance. Be the fucking killer. And and I was. And so I'm very
Yeah.
happy, with the performance, but I was masked and I'm
Right.
masked in all these movies because I couldn't stand to see myself acting. It drove me fucking nuts.
Really.
I hate seeing myself act. And it's gotten a little better now, a little better. But Lazarium is an interesting movie because Lazarium, Greg rented this space. He said, "I
Yeah.
want you to do this thing, like put some challenges in it, make it like a Squid Game kind of thing or whatever." Something like this. You got two actresses, and I thought, well, I'm going to do something really gonzo. I'm going to do like really meta, like I'm going to play a director.
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh shit, if I do that, that means I'm playing like a heightened version of myself.
Right.
I got to take that mask off, man. And I have that rubber mask that you've seen in some of these movies.
I've seen a
And
few of your rubber masks. Yeah.
in Lazarium, well, it's the
Yeah.
one in Bikini Guillotine. I know you've seen that one.
Yeah.
And and so what happens in Lazarium though is I have the mask
Yeah.
and I take the mask, and at one point I rip it on camera. Like I just rip. I said, we don't need this anymore. And
Is
I
that how
throw
you
it.
damaged it for Bikini Guillotine?
And that's exactly how I
Wow.
damaged it because I told myself, like,
Yeah.
I'm never gonna wear this mask again. Also,
Okay.
Greg was like, just like you've done enough of these mask movies. He's like, stop with
Yeah.
the mask. Like it's too
See,
much mask.
I thought that it got torn in Centipede Strangler because you could kind of see when she grabbed you and she was pulling at it that
Ooh.
it tore. Yeah.
I forgot about Centipede Wrangler. You saw that movie? Oh
I
my
did.
God.
Yeah.
That one's pretty nasty. It did not tear in that one. No, 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 no.
No, okay.
That was so fun. That movie
Yeah.
was like, oh, that was an amazing shoot. We had to shoot that whole movie in one fucking hospital room in a studio
Yeah.
while they were shooting a movie right outside that room.
I could hear it going on.
Yeah, that's another production
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
And they're just like, Greffy's in that room, and these women are just
Yeah.
and screaming. And the screams that came from
Yeah.
Hannah, I mean, they were so authentic.
Yeah.
I did not expect her to be that intense. But anyway, Lazarium,
Yes.
the
Yeah.
mask gets torn. And I was like, after that, I was like, oh shit, like I tore that mask.
Yeah.
That's like $100 mask. And so soon after that, we wanted to do another mask, like a bikini guillotine came about, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, shoot, I need a mask. And I put it on, and I
Yeah.
was like, well, it's not quite right. And I took my duct tape, and I was like, oh, it's not quite right. And I was like, let's do it. And then I just went and we shot the movie. So yeah, like it's all got some kind of like heart and
Yeah.
soul for me, in some way.
Yeah.
Um,
You're answering some of the questions that I planned on asking later too in the interview as we go. So that's awesome. I was gonna ask, yeah, the some of the first times that I've ever seen you not masked were
mhm.
when you play the Dr. Maul character from the different Bad Girls series. Where did that
Mahler, yeah, yeah.
character come from? Dr. Male, yeah.
Where did he come from?
Yeah. The therapist that fixes young women by
Y-
yelling at them.
yeah, yeah. That kid, yeah. Well, so like I think with around Bad Girl School time, I was
Yeah.
really into a couple things. I got really deep for a while. I got really deeply entrenched in this cult. I was in a cult.
Oh, okay.
And I was doing these kind of cult training sessions, and the cult training sessions were very intense, and they were very much meant to kind of break a person down and to completely kind of allow one person to be oblivious to, or not oblivious, not being able to be moved by certain things, and to be very stable in this. So I did this a lot of this training, and I did it very well. And I did the training very, very well. And if I told you exactly what the training was, you would know, based on, it's just something in the culture that people do. But I did it in a very roundabout way, um, in a way that people aren't supposed to be doing it. Anyway, and then at that same time, I started getting into EST training. I don't know if you know the EST
No, I don't.
training. Werner Erhard. Werner Erhard was a very charismatic, self-development motivation guy in the 70s who kind of started this other kind of cult-like system called
Mm,
EST. So I was very much into kind of cult practices at that time, really just like living it, experiencing it firsthand, and there was a lot of value that it gave me at that time. Um, but the main value that it gave me, so S training, which feeds into the other training that I was doing, was very much based on confrontation and
yeah. Hmm.
confronting the other person,
Yeah.
confronting them with your full strength.
Yeah.
And my movies really hinge upon that confrontation in some way. My movies are very confrontational. The camera is confrontational. The kills can be very confrontational. There's something there that there's like a not looking away that happens. This idea of not looking away comes literally from the beginning of Sorority Girl Massacre. You're confronted with the human face. You're confronted with another person, and you don't look away. But Mahler, well, it was this simple idea of let's make a movie that, well, a lot of these movies start from a very grounded space, which is let's make a movie that's marketable. Um, let's give it a fun title. Let's
Yeah.
let's 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 play with it. Well,
Yeah.
how about Bad Girl School? Oh, Bad Girl School sounds good. Let's go make it. What are you gonna do in Bad Girl School? It's like, well, I'll figure it out. And then I thought I really like playing with different architectures of movies. I like playing with structures.
Yeah.
And so, like I told you, I don't like to be bound by the normal screenplay structure. So Bad Girl School allowed me to play with structure. So you have these however many girls I had, 5 girls, I think, on that shoot. That's a
I
lot.
think
That's a big
five.
shoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had 5 girls. I had 5 girls on that shoot, and the whole premise is Mahler enters, and there's just like it's like this shady academy where they have these bad girls,
Yeah.
and he goes, "I can fix them," and and
Yeah.
and then it's just one by one, you go through the training procedure, and it's
Yeah.
almost like a self-help, self-development, almost cult-like. Um, I don't know what to call it, ritual session. You're almost like entering into the session of these women and how they're kind of being quote unquote taught by this quote unquote expert who is operating by his own terms. And I think he ends up like stabbing one of them at one
Yeah.
point.
And that's how he
Yeah,
saves
they go,
her. He saves her by killing her. Yeah.
he just like murders her. He just murders her, and then they like hide the body because it's like that
Yeah.
was like they wanted to set that up. And then he's like, I did it. He's
I
just
fixed him.
completely in his, but he's just completely in his old world. Yeah, he's just completely in his own world of healing, and it's just meant to be a fun movie. It's not, but then I read the reviews online, and people are like, this is this. This is abuse, or something. This guy's abusing these young women, and I'm like, dude, it's a fucking movie, dude. Um,
You're not still in a cult now, are you?
No, no, I'm
Okay.
not.
All right, good.
I'm out. I got out. I got out of the cult. But well, when I say it was a cult, I mean it is a cult, but it served its purpose. It served its
All right.
purpose.
Is it the same
Yeah,
cult that
yeah.
John Travolta's in?
It was a variation of that. It was a
Okay. All
variation
right.
of that.
I
Yeah,
know what you're
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about. All right.
It was the underside underground strain of it,
Okay.
and it served a very great purpose. And so the funny thing is like that, but that training
Yeah.
alongside EST training, which I said EST, Werner
Yeah.
Erhard, he's a fantastic public speaker, Ben. And I would listen to his lectures all the time
Hmm.
when I would go for walks or runs or whatever. I would listen to his lectures all the time.
Hmm.
And he's fantastic. And so I really wanted to have a character that, so one part of his training would be to kind of get a person to answer to their bullshit, you know. So somebody
Yeah.
might stand up there and be like, "Oh, I'm a failure," you know, and he would literally have trainers go up there and just be like, why did you fail in life? And the guy would be like, "Oh, what? Why did you fail in life? Oh, because I'm a piece of shit. Why did you fail in life? And why did you fail in life?" And the
Yeah.
trick is to ask every question, even though it's the same question. This is the
Yeah.
trick. This is the truth of it. The truth is to ask every question as if you're asking it for the first time.
Right.
So every question, even though it's the same question, is a new question because it's a new moment in time.
Right.
And so I wanted to experience that, with these bad girls. So it's really just like a condensation of kind of cult-like
When you say
new
that, it
age
makes absolute
feeling.
sense. Like when you describe the way that the S training goes, I can totally see it now after having seen the movie.
That's all
Yeah.
that movie is.
Yeah.
I did Bad Girl Sunday School after that, which
Yeah. I've not
it
seen that
is
one yet.
not it's not meant to be sacrilegious or anything like that. I'm very
I don't mind either
respectful
way.
of. Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's not, but it uses an approach where Mahler in this second one, instead of doing the est practices, he relates everything back to like a biblical quotation. So
Oh,
every
okay.
time he does the questioning, but then
Yeah.
when he doesn't know what else to say, he just simply opens and he kind of lets like whatever passage guide him, even if it's
Okay.
like something from like the Book of Revelations or something. And then the girls will be like, "You're right. Like that's why I burned down the house and killed my dad."
Oh no.
And then he just goes, "It's okay. You're forgiven." And they're just like, "Thank you. Thank you." And then we did Bad Girls Go
Fixed.
Home. Yeah, they're fixed. It's
Yeah.
the end of the movie. But somebody on Letterboxd said they're like, this is not a movie. This should be illegal. And I was like, well, I
Why?
mean, like, why should it be illegal? It's just a movie. We're just having
Yeah.
fun. Yeah. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's that. Yeah.
So you had a prodigious year in 2025. We've talked a little bit about your process through here, but you wrote and directed nearly 50 movies in just that one year. How, tell us if, how is that possible? Like, you got to be doing multiple movies in a day, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends.
Mhm.
It depends. You'd have to give me an exact shoot, and I could tell
Okay.
you what was shot on that
Well,
day. Or I can talk in general.
I'm pretty certain that Bikini Guillotine and Bad Girls School were done in one day.
Not only were they done in one day, Sorority House Guillotine was also done on that day.
Oh, okay. I've not, that's
So
a
it was
Greg
three
movie though,
movies.
right? Is that a Greg movie or a you movie?
I don't know. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Okay. Well, I haven't seen that
So
one. I couldn't find it anywhere.
it's on Fossum now.
Okay.
The original cut is on Fossum. It's
Yeah.
me. It's my movie, but there's
Yeah.
different kills. So it's essentially Bikini Guillotine, but with completely different kills. And then
Okay.
it's gonna be on Tubi pretty soon. But yeah. So that was a three-movie shoot. And I mean,
Yeah.
if you want me to break down the process, I certainly can. But you'd have to
Yeah.
give me
Yeah.
like an exact which exact shoot you want to talk about.
Well, let's talk about
That
Blood
one.
Rush and Anatomy Lab.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Were those all, those were both in one day as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
so Blood Rush and Anatomy Lab one day, and
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful Sunday,
Yeah.
sunny weather,
Yeah. Very
right
loud
down the
peacocks.
right down the street from where I live, and
Yeah. Oh, okay.
right down the street, the house that we rented. People think these are Airbnbs. They're not. They're
Okay.
actually houses that open themselves up for productions. People
Oh,
like they
okay.
just think like, oh, Jamie broke into somebody's house and he's making a movie. Somebody was like, I hear all kinds of things like this.
Yeah.
Oh, Jamie found a dilapidated trailer and he invited some
It's
crackheads,
because you're a
and like
mysterious character. That's why.
some mysterious character. But it's a house that they rent themselves. This is Los Angeles, man. Everybody's
Yeah.
trying to make
I
money, so they
figured.
rent their
Yeah.
houses out for productions. But this house was actually owned by filmmakers, and if you look really closely in the movie, you can see a poster of their movie, which they keep framed on the wall, which is quite funny.
Which one
And
is theirs? Because I noticed a lot
I
of them.
not one of the ones you heard
Yeah.
of, not like Star Wars, or
Yeah.
they had a Faster Pussycat Kill Kill one there, but
Yeah.
that's no, I wish.
They had a
I
gumshoe
can't remember
one
I
that kind of looks like Gumshoe, but
It's the gumshoe one. It's the
okay.
gumshoe one. I believe. You'd have to go back and watch it, but I believe
Their
it's the gumshoe
their G
one.
on their font really looks a lot like a C, and
That's a different movie, man. We shot that after we shot these movies.
yeah,
Um, But yeah, so beautiful sunny day.
yeah,
We've got a house. Okay, we were in like serial killer mode at that point of production. We wanted to
okay,
get serial killer movies, or I was in a serial killer mode. I think we did Bikini Guillotine around that time too.
okay,
Maybe before, and I can't remember the timeline exactly. But yes, get some girls, get a house, make a movie. Yeah, it was after Bikini Guillotine because I was very fascinated with this structure. And I've talked about the structure of Bikini Guillotine on Simi and Jimmy's Treehouse podcast. But
hmm,
the structure of Bikini Guillotine, these movies have the exact same structure, and it's a three-part structure.
yep,
It's very minimal setup. And it's bare bones horror setup of girls entering a space,
yeah,
and then you spend time with them in this almost timeless, real, almost like realistic unfolding of their lives. It's just almost like you're swirling in time with them. There's no purpose for it. It's very much a moment in time, and it's very much kind of crafted to be that way. And for this one, I'll tell you in a second. And then the third part of that is the kills one by one. Then they all
yeah,
die, and there's
hmm,
no happy ending. There's no explanation. It's literally like the document of a crime. It's almost like the document of a crime that you can't get this kind of document elsewhere. I mean, you see kind of the fictional setup, and then almost like you see the camera as if the camera is the killer, and you're very much obscured in many ways. You're just tracking them. You're just watching them.
yeah,
It's like in Death Proof when Kurt Russell is watching the
yeah,
girls from a distance,
hmm,
except it's like 20 minutes of the movie. And then one by one, they fall.
yeah,
And and that's the end of the movie. It's really, I mean, they end in a certain way. I mean, I think Chris Spinelli ends them both in his own way as I
yeah.
directed him. But
He's
my
ended
point
in
is,
one and he ends the other.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
I think and so we shot Anatomy Lab first. And yeah, Anatomy Lab, as you said in your reviews, it has a little more of a story. At least the setup is
yeah,
there. There's some setup, something's happening. Now, with these movies, they're really and well, I'll say this, in Blood Rush was so as we're shooting Anatomy Lab, at that moment, I had a DP shooting on a very nice camera, and I was shooting B-roll alongside of him.
yeah,
And as the movie's shooting and we're getting the footage, I mean, you're making all these choices in the moment. So you're outside at the pool, there's
yeah,
peacocks, there's wind
yeah,
coming in, and you're very much bound by what you have available to you on that day. And I have a goal. I'm trying to meet that goal. And
yeah,
I'm very much aware of everything that's happening. I'm very aware of the time. I'm very aware of what I need. I'm very aware of the sound. I'm very aware of all of that. And I'm going, just shoot it. Just
hmm,
don't turn off the fucking camera.
okay,
Get this, and I want you to track these girls now. Now these girls. Now go over here. And sometimes I guide them, like, oh, talk about this, talk about that, do this, do that. But
yeah,
I'm really just like washing over the reality of these girls at a pool. And it's very much to the point where it's confronting this space of why is this guy doing this? Like, this is driving me absolutely crazy. I mean, it really grates on people. They can't. I mean, like, and that's probably like you had this perverse curiosity after you saw it too, because you're like,
hmm.
what the fuck? Like, what's this guy fucking doing? Like, is he insane? Like, is he just? I can't hear anything they're saying,
Yeah,
or I can see him in the shot, or well,
yeah,
there's all these things that are happening as I'm shooting that I'm really flowing with it in some way, and I'm feeling it in some way, and then I know I'm getting it in my own way, and I'm getting what I want to get because I go the way I see this pool scene is I don't I don't even care what they're saying. And it's not that I don't care what they're saying because I'm somehow like degrading them as a person.
yeah,
I'm just going, I want the pure immediacy of this moment. I want the pure awkwardness of this moment. I want to just see them splashing. I want to see them just I'm watching them. The camera's watching them
hmm,
for a long time. And that's how we're knowing them in this space. And that's what I would call some kind of psychophysical capturing of what's going on. And then it can pivot. Then it can pivot into some kind of tight, highly constructed kill. And the kill can happen again also in its own time. And the kills have to feel for these movies they had to feel like a criminal serial killers are I mean, I hope I never encounter one, as none of us do,
Yeah,
right? We hope we never encounter one.
right.
But we have to imagine that a serial or we can imagine that a serial killer demands complete control over that situation and that they're actually getting very, very they're feeling the pleasure of it. And for them, that pleasure is probably very real in that moment. And so my movies, I don't want to use blood, not because I don't like blood.
Yeah,
Blood is very hard to clean up,
yeah,
and blood we don't have enough time. I'm sorry, we don't have enough
yeah,
time. We don't have the budget, we don't have the time. No blood. So I decided early on, no blood. Don't need
yeah.
it. I don't care. Who cares? Who gives a shit? No blood. People got really mad at me on Bikini Guillotine when I stabbed the knife into somebody, and I go, and they go, somebody's like, they're like, did this guy just make a noise with his mouth when he stabbed this girl? They go, wasn't anybody on set to stop this from happening? Then I thought, dude, no, no, no.
Yeah.
There's nobody on set. It's just me.
That
And the
part
door's
doesn't bother me
locked.
at all. Like
And we're killing.
I don't mind
I'm
that
sorry.
there's no blood or gore or anything like that.
It
Yeah.
yeah, well, I mean, these are obviously you're entering into a different kind of movie. You're
Right.
entering into a different kind of movie. You're entering into something that's I'm not playing just from this kind of purist. I've never been a horror guy. I mean, I
No.
thought I was,
Yeah.
but I'm not. I'm more into kind of immediacy, confrontation. I'm into the aesthetics of ugliness. I'm into uh uh the female form. I'm into
Hmm.
I'm into capturing beauty. I'm into slow movements. I'm into that kind of discomfort. I'm into what's called abreaction. I like things that make somebody kind of go uh, uh, you know, I like that. And so all of these kills that kind of happen, they kind of can all get that. And Blood Rush, I mean, one of the actresses in Blood Rush was like, I want you to like attack me.
Yeah.
And she's like, I want you to like completely attack me. And I said, well, I want this to be like 6 or 7 minutes long. And she's like, well,
Hmm.
that's fine. And I said, okay, so we'll do it. And you just tell me if it's too much. And she
Yeah.
goes, yeah, absolutely. Like nothing's ever like coerced. Like I think people were like, what is this guy doing? Like he's got to be like what he's doing is illegal. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Um, and the movies are just very once they're done. And then sometimes you kind of look at it, and then when I edit it, the editing becomes its
Right.
own kind of creative process for me. I
Yeah.
mean, the editing process, I've said this before, but the editing process is really where the movie happens because you start to realize, like, well, what do you have? How does it look? How does it feel? How does it fit together? You can really shape the duration of it. And I really I love all kinds of movies, but I love movies that operate on their own terms. And from early on, I was really into uh, movies that can move slowly, and they don't have to feel rushed. And they can almost feel like alien.
Mhm.
They can kind of take you out of this world a little bit. Like I realized that with slow cinema. Like we're so used to things that are kind of fast.
Yeah.
But as soon as we're kind of exposed to something that's too slow, we start to go, what's this guy doing? Like he's not making sense to me right now. Like something about this is very uneven and I can feel comfortable in those spaces. I can. I mean, I just can. So luckily for me, like I made a movie called Jupiter, which is a horse
Mhm.
movie, but it's like 20 minutes of footage stretched into an hour. Um, I think it's on Tubi. I believe it's on
Mhm.
Tubi. And so I mean, it's not that the platform. I mean, it's like if something can be slow and still be art, it can be layered slowly and slow moving. Um, I would love to look at something beautiful for an hour. That's just me. But again, that's my aesthetics.
So I'm going to ask you now the hardest question that I have for for the interview. Okay, all the rest of the questions are easy.
All right.
About Blood Rush and about Anatomy Lab.
Mhm.
What happened with Blood Rush in the respect with the scenes with you in the shot giving direction and the scenes missing and all that sort of business? Is that on purpose? I thought it might
Um,
be some sort of avant-garde thing that I didn't understand.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
yeah, like definitely it's I don't want to say it's a joke. It's not a joke, but
Okay.
it's probably more for me. It's got that Lazarium dance the kung fu
Yeah.
creativity workshop flair. I like the idea, like if you think about creativity workshop, you got to see kind of how that's the one you saw, right? Creativity workshop
Yeah. Creativity
where
workshop.
yeah. And you kind of see how that's kind of like there's kind of this kind of pacing happening and
Yeah.
there's movements happening and then it's like action, let's shoot this one thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the shoots, that's a very heightened version of what's happening, obviously. Um, but that messiness, that way of messiness was really interesting to me, especially at that time because I had just seen John Cassavetes' Killing of a Chinese Bookie, which Killing of a Chinese Bookie does not kind of show the camera.
Hmm.
But if you haven't seen Killing of a Chinese Bookie by
I've
John
not.
Cassavetes,
Yeah.
you should watch it tonight.
Yeah.
It means so much to me. And that movie, there's a movement to it and there's a way it moves where you think it's a gangster movie. You're like, oh my God, it's just a stupid mafia movie, whatever. It's not. It's the human condition. And more than that, it's John Cassavetes as a director who's he's getting really close, he's pulling away, he's moving, he's blurring it, and now he's showing kind of girls dancing because it's at a go-go club, a go-go dancer, a
Yeah.
club in Hollywood. And then you kind of go, wow, this is so fucking beautiful that I'm almost watching something I feel like I was born to watch, but I didn't watch until like my 40s, you know. And
Yeah.
and and then I go, well, then when I make Blood Rush or when I make Anatomy Lab, at that time, I thought, well, what if I reach out and I'm there as the director and there's my
Mhm.
presence is there. And I think I know one spot you're talking about where it's like at the end where you can hear me directing Chris, like he's going down the hall or something like this. Maybe it's in one of these movies.
No, I
Anyway,
mean
there's
that's in one of them, but I'm talking about right before one of the kills. There's a shot where you're in the scene and you're telling the actress what you're about to do. We're going to play cat and mouse a little bit, and then
Yeah, yeah.
and then it
It's
starts.
the same
Yeah.
principle. It's the same
Yeah.
principle. That's me watching it when I'm editing it, and I kind of
Yeah.
take a step back and I take a pause and I go back and I watch it and I go, that's kind of interesting. Like, you don't see that in any movie.
Yeah.
And if I put that in this movie, it's going to change the entire experience of the movie for somebody out there. Somebody's going to watch that and
Yeah.
go, "Wait, wait, wait. Did that guy just direct? Like did is he like literally directing like in the movie like
I
as
got
it's
to make
about
a
to
YouTube
happen?"
video about this.
Yeah, 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 exactly, exactly. And it's almost like for that particular like I wouldn't do that for every movie,
Right.
obviously. But for something like Blood Rush, something like Anatomy Lab, I felt very free to do that at that time. Again, I
Yeah.
was kind of coming off of Bikini Guillotine and this idea of Anatomy Lab and Blood Rush did the same structure as Bikini Guillotine, exactly the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, pretty much.
Girls at a
Yeah.
pool and then they die.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Yeah.
But it's different. Blood Rush is obviously a different mask, is a different mythology.
Yeah.
There's something there that's unfolding that's different, but the idea of long kills, the pool, the girls, it's like the essence of a horror movie or the skeleton or the frame of a horror movie, but yet you can see the scaffolding. It's
Hmm.
almost like you can see the seams in it. It's like looking at a beautiful piece of fashion, but you can see you can see the thread, you know.
Right.
It feels like that to me. Uh and that was attractive to me because I never see that. And I thought, well, I want to see that and I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it.
That makes sense.
And then I didn't think about it too much beyond that. Then I turned
Then
it
you did
in,
it. Yeah.
and then I did it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like sometimes I'll put, complete like rumbles and shortwave radio and
Yeah.
oscillations under these. Like the score is also very
Yeah. Yeah, I've
is
noticed
very
that too.
particular.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So all of that stuff I really play with as in like, well, I'm really enjoying this
Yeah.
experience of it in this way. This is how I want it to
Yeah.
be.
Like I said before, I really like it when you do the improvisational work, when something happens that's a bit awry and you react to it in the moment. I really like that. Another good example of that was Torment of the Witch. When I suspect it was in the same hospital room and there was filming going on around you, and they were making a lot of noise out there, and you were telling the young women that if you can hear that noise, it means you're okay. It means you're normal.
Hmm.
And you could
Was that Torment
totally
of,
sorry,
is that in Torment of the Witch?
that's in Torment of the Witch. Yeah,
I love that movie. Well, that was a different shoot. That was the day before. That was a
yeah,
totally different studio.
but
But yes,
oh,
a movie
totally
was
different
shooting
studio.
in the
Okay,
same, totally different studio. That
yeah,
was in downtown LA, and then Centipede Strangler was in the Valley.
yeah,
But two different days.
yeah.
Uh, but
Same
yes, same
situation though.
principle.
Yeah, same
Same
situation.
principle.
Yeah,
I think Torment of the Witch is fantastic. I mean, I
yeah,
think it was magical. It's such an odd, uncomfortable movie for me.
yeah.
And then, but the colors in it,
Hmm.
um, the way I'm just like you never see somebody like completely stepped on and humiliated and killed
Yeah,
in that way. It's it's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful, dude.
yeah.
I think it's so, and people watch it and they just go, "Oh my God." Like somebody called it Feet the Movies. I mean, it's like, let's call it Feet the Movie. And I was like, I get the joke.
Yeah.
Um, I get the joke, but for me, they're dreams that I sound like David Lynch. They're dreams from the field of consciousness, but they are kind of like there's these dreams because it's another thing. I have the script, the
Yeah.
latent script, which has the shots and all of this, but when we're
Hmm.
shooting, I don't. I internalize the script and then I never have it. So we just work. We
Yeah.
just work. There's actually a steamier cut of Torment of the Witch that won't be released, but it's much steamier.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, is generative AI used at all in your process? And there's no judgment here, yes or no.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Is it using my process? Sometimes.
Yeah.
So the artwork is not done by me. I know somebody was commenting on artwork before. So the artwork,
The
some of that
posters?
artwork's generative AI. But
I thought
the
so.
funny thing
Yeah.
is, no,
Yeah.
but actually, let me tell you this. Anatomy Lab and Blood Rush were done by a designer. I mean, who like was
Really?
paid money to design. Yes,
Look
dude.
at
Yeah. And they're very similar. Yeah, they're
yeah.
very similar.
Mhm.
Well, he's a great designer. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
This is very like Los Angeles to always just say good things about everybody.
That's fine.
Um,
Yeah.
he's a great
I
guy,
wouldn't
great
ask you to say
designer,
anything bad about
fantastic work.
anybody. We don't
No,
want to make any
he's
enemies
great.
here.
He,
Yeah.
he's fantastic.
Yeah.
But some of the artwork is absolutely artwork can be generative. I don't do the
Yeah.
artwork, but now if you want to see a movie that's very generative AI, you want to see Barefoot Labyrinth, which was a movie I put out by myself, which uses a lot of those earlier AI models as almost like in their weird purity mixed with organic scenes. But for me, with these movies that I'm shooting that you've discussed today, no,
Yeah. Right.
I don't use AI in them.
The music in
I
was the music in Red Static Rising? Was it Red Static Rising?
I well, I do all the
Angel
music.
Retina. Angel's Retina.
Which music
There's
are you referring
there's
to?
two dance sequences in Angel's Retina where they're dancing to
Oh,
music.
no, those are just licensed pieces of music. Like
Oh,
we have
really?
access to
Okay.
like a library.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
I mean, dude, for all I know,
Yeah.
they're generative AI, but they have
Yeah.
artists. No, actually, one of the artists is a Japanese artist, Macaroon. But no, in terms of like in general, like how
Yeah.
often is generative AI used? I'll use generative AI on the idea level at some
Okay.
points. Like if I'm like, hey, let's talk about, I want you to look at all of David Lynch's movies, and I want you to look at all of my movies, and let's figure out how they overlap. Something like
Mm.
this. That would just be for fun. Oh, okay. Oh, wow,
Yeah.
interesting. Oh, that could be cool. Oh, maybe blah 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 blah. I'll use AI like that. In terms of like using AI specifically, I rarely, 10% of the time, 5% of the time. I mean, I want to just say rarely. Um, Now, I also work in marketing full time, and I
Yeah.
work very deeply in the AI space. I don't know if you know that, but that's
I did
that's
not know
that's
that,
my
but
my other life is
yeah.
I know a lot about AI, but I don't use it in
Yeah.
this world making these movies necessarily. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm happy to use it in I don't think AI like somebody well the funny thing like today on like X somebody showed a little video that was made and they said doesn't this feel like David Lynch, or something like this. And I said it doesn't, like it really
Hmm.
doesn't. And I kind of gave some reasons why. And I really
Yeah.
think there's a beauty to organic cinema.
Yes.
I like organic cinema.
Yeah.
And a lot of the movies we shot in 2020, late 2024 to
Yeah.
like basically through 2025. We're all done mid 2025. A lot of those were done on a very beautiful camera, a 6K camera,
Yeah.
with a DP. If you ever see like cinematography by Louis DeStefano, you should know that's a
Yeah.
big camera
Okay.
with a lens,
Yeah.
and then we kind of moved to I shot some stuff on the iPad. So I shot
Okay.
like Mother's Eye on the iPad. I got B-roll from Anatomy Lab and Blood Rush and Bikini Guillotine on the iPad.
Mhm.
Again, mind blowing to certain people out there who watch these movies. They can't comprehend
Yeah.
that these movies would be done on iPad. Now we've transitioned more to the iPhone 17
Yeah.
for some of these newer movies in 2026.
Yeah.
And that's just a totally different shooting experience. So I'm the DP on those.
Okay.
So a lot of the older movies, I had a DP and I'm telling him what to do, and that's slowed down the process.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say slowed down in a bad way. It really sets up some beautiful shots.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But the iPhone and the iPad allow for a versatility that you can do POV stuff very easily.
Yeah.
I like POV cinema, and I like the idea of the camera as auditor, the camera as intruder. I like the camera
Yeah.
as it has a presence. Whether you like it or not, I like that.
Yeah.
And it works well for these types of movies.
My personal feeling on generative AI and the filmmaking process is that it doesn't belong there unless I think that AI tools are great if they're going to make someone's job easier, but if you're going to replace someone with a machine that'll do it cheaper and with no heart or soul to it, I don't think it belongs. It
Yeah,
sounds like you feel the same way. So,
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. It's really good for like a soundboard for certain ideas. But I mean, it
Yeah.
does make you a little lazier because you can like literally say, "Well,
Yeah.
plug in this, that, and the other thing, and let me see what you come up with." And
Yeah.
that can be very nice. But it does take away something that like when you're like boots on the ground, like especially with like movie
Yeah.
making. So you could have AI make your script, or you could have AI kind of craft out this kind of thing, but you still have to be there shooting it. And yeah, okay, people are saying like this fight scene between these people it looks amazing, this and the other thing. Okay, good, you go for it. Check it out. But I'm telling you,
Yeah.
there's a human resonance that maybe over time, yes, we'll be able to get the wool pulled on us. That's probably inevitable.
Yeah. I'd
But
say so.
for now, I can tell you, for me,
Yeah.
I just feel like it's just there and I can feel it and I love it. And
Good.
that's one part about these movies that they might be messy to people, or they
Yeah.
might be ugly or awkward in some way. They're very uniquely they're very uniquely human, and
Yeah. They're real.
they're very real in
Yeah.
their own way, and there's a great love and respect for cinema
Mhm.
behind them. I'm not doing it to be a provocateur. I'm not doing it to be misogynistic. I'm not doing it to
No.
be um, you know in any way like pushing kind of political buttons or anything like this. Any theme that comes out of it, yeah, they're going to be reflective of my aesthetic tastes, and my aesthetic tastes are probably like pretty personally fucked up, and that's just like I'm pretty personally fucked up,
Yeah.
so that's gonna come out. But then I want to make something really beautiful. I did
Mhm.
like I'd love to make things that like Kama Sutra Cowgirl, I think is like such a beautiful piece of work. And then I know certain people get it, and then other people will be like, well, I hated it. And so I go, well, then I know in my heart of hearts, Ben, that I have to be the one to go, God, I love that movie. And I
Yeah.
love what it is for me. To me, it's beautiful.
I haven't seen
And
it
I guess
yet, so I can't give you
I
my
just have to
opinion yet.
that's okay. I'm just saying I just have
Yeah.
to I think the artist needs to stand up for themselves in
I
that
think so
way.
too.
But
Yeah.
but because you're very good at thoroughly kind of analyzing work, and you're very good at kind of contextualizing it and talking about other people's work. It's you get a lot of joy from that. I'm sure, and that's fine. And then where I have to come in is I have to go, the work has to live on its own, man. So,
Yeah.
whatever Ben says about it, he's going to say that about it. Whatever
Yeah.
somebody else says about it, if they say I belong in a jail or a mental institution, or if I'm a psycho or I'm a creep, or, I've heard like, all of it. I just have to go, okay. And then just go, what,
I
what can I do? What can I say?
I
Just
want to
like, it's
give
just work
you
is work.
my personal guarantee right now that I will always give you a fair assessment. You will
Thank
like
you.
I
Thank you.
creativity workshop. It blew my mind.
Yes.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
watch
you
the
said
rest
you
of your
liked it. I
stuff too.
appreciated that.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I'll let you know what I think, but it's always going to be honest.
No, no, but and
Yeah,
that's the way I think it
yeah,
should be. I think
yeah,
you have to be honest, and
hmm
it's like the filmmaker has to be honest. The filmmaker, I love this because as a
yeah,
filmmaker, I'm very honest.
yeah,
Like you can say he loves women, and then you go, yeah, he loves women, and then you go, well, he loves like apparently he loves characters that like stab women. And you go, well, I guess I've done it, so somehow aesthetically it comes out of me.
yeah,
But then you go. I have to be honest. Critics have to be honest. And I guess
yeah,
if people are being honest, there's nothing you can do. It's just like it happens. But it's a blast to make movies. And I'm really
yeah,
grateful to have any movie come out because it could all stop for me. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I don't have this long line of producers who contact me wanting to make movies. And so
Right.
I do think, I would say a couple things to independent filmmakers. And actually, I would say a few things while this is in my mind, if you don't mind. I
Sure.
would say if my movies can inspire other filmmakers to make movies, or if it gets them riled up where they just go, fuck, I hated that movie. I could do better. And
Yeah,
then they go out and somehow they figure out a way to make a movie. I think that's great.
yeah,
I do. I really do. And somebody said that about Bikini Guillotine. They said, this guy, he's kind of like redefining backyard cinema or whatever they said. And I thought, well, that's really fascinating,
yeah,
that it's kind of inspiring somebody to go into their backyard and like shoot something. I'm like, that's great. Because that's what I did when I was a little
yeah.
boy,
Mhm.
a little guy, college, whatever. When I did that. That's very important to me. And then I think maybe that's one thing I can look to and I can go, I love that. And, just as
Yeah.
somebody who's like used to be deeply entrenched in different educational spaces as well, it's like that's one thing that really gets me going. Um, yeah.
Excellent.
Inspired you to make a video. So like,
You
well,
sure
fuck,
did.
what? It
I
can't
made
be that
two.
bad then. You
I
made
made two.
two. You're
Yes.
like, I've got to like decode. You can make like 50 more now.
I certainly can. Yeah,
Oh,
I
oh,
don't know if, yeah,
yeah, yeah. And I was gonna say one other thing. What's really important for like independent filmmakers, and this probably goes for like a lot of the people you talk to, which is
yeah,
people don't realize how contemporary independent cinema doesn't make a lot of money. It just
yeah,
doesn't. It can make its budget back, absolutely. But I don't think people realize the extent of which we're kind of surrounded now by look at this movie, The Bride. How much did that cost?
yeah,
$80 million, I heard, 90
yeah,
million. The Wuthering Heights cost 80 million. It's supposed to be erotic. It's supposed to be erotic. I feel I'm a very erotic director. Nobody's calling me. Nobody's
yeah,
asking me to do Wuthering Heights. I would love to do Wuthering Heights. Frankenstein, The Bride. These movies they're putting forth so much money into these
yeah.
movies. And to me, I just look at that and I go, what? That's a completely different universe of filmmaking to me. And so
Absolutely.
when somebody goes, this guy made a movie of girls at the pool, I go,
Yeah,
yeah, I made movies of girls at the pool. Like that's the movie that I literally could make, and
yeah,
I'm crafting it in a way that is kind of around my artistic sensibilities.
yeah,
Um, but I go, that's the world we live in now. So like every time like somebody shares like a link to whatever, a Tubi link, a
yeah,
YouTube link, something like this does help because then those algorithms really do pay attention to the movie and they could take it out more and different people could see it and so on
yeah,
and so forth.
absolutely.
But
Yeah, I
but
get a lot
it's
of
very
people.
hard, man. Yeah.
I get a lot of people on. I do a lot of interviews on the channel with filmmakers and with performers, and most of the people that I get on here are making four-figure, five-figure budget films. So they're making very small budget films. I have had a guy on here who makes six, seven-figure budget movies. It was a completely different conversation, the kind of conversation that I
Yeah.
had with that guy.
Yeah.
He was very used to, he's very media trained. So it was a very different conversation, but it definitely money's the thing, man.
Costs a lot of money to make a
Yeah,
movie, even
yeah,
four digits, like who's going to give like several $1,000s to make a movie? That's
yeah,
that's hard. So I guess I want to say these are not in any way meant to be kind of like frivolous experiences. Like
yeah,
everything I do, I am pouring a tremendous amount into it.
yeah,
but then it has to live on its own, you know. So
Yeah.
so once it goes out to the wolves, once it goes out to the bens of the world, to
Yeah.
the wolves to chomp on it, I have to kind of go,
Yeah.
there you
The
go, man.
t
Here's my neck, you
the
know.
t-shirts out of the t-shirt cannon. Boom. Time to load up another
That's right.
t-shirt, right?
That's right. To like knock a grandma off of her, you know. Um, but yeah, yeah. So labors of love, definitely
Yeah.
with all respect. But you know, it's been a blast, and hopefully I can continue to
Yeah.
make more movies. And actually, I would love to collaborate with a variety of producers or
Yeah.
talents, or I'd love to work with a name actor. I'd love to get some more name actors
Mhm.
involved who are willing to kind of work, you know, in this way. I would love to do that. I mean, these are goals I have too. So as a filmmaker, I have goals, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to reach those goals too. And I guess if they happen, they happen. If they don't, they don't. But it's worth trying.
So, how did you get linked up with Chris Spinelli? Is he just a guy that you found along the way? Because he's in almost all of your movies.
Yeah, Chris is in a lot of the movies. So
Yeah.
Chris is connected to Cinema Epoch and Cineridge
Oh, okay.
Entertainment
Hmm.
a little bit before I was, but he's just close. He's just,
Yeah.
I guess, when you're making movies in these production companies, you know, especially at this smaller level,
Yeah.
there is overlap. And so Chris, as a producer, will handle different levels of the production.
Okay.
So something needs to be handled, whether it's a contract, payment, securing a location, making sure we have insurance, all
Okay.
of this stuff. That's a producer. So
Yeah.
that's not me. So I'm focusing on getting everything ready so that. I mean, another one I think about these shoots is they're all done in one day. I don't know if
Yeah.
I said that specifically. These
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
one
Hmm.
day operations in the trenches. So on that day, I have to be ready to go, and Chris helps um he helps carry that, you know. He helps me through that, and when I need him to carry the cam have the camera and shoot something, or whether I need him in front of the camera, put
Yeah.
on a wig, get kicked around a little bit, fall down the stairs,
Go into the
he's
washroom and
there,
don't wash
man.
your hands.
Go to the washroom and don't wash your hands. He's there for all of it.
Yeah.
And there's a few of these people who are around in that capacity
Yeah.
that I can call any day of the week and they'll be there for me.
That's really
But
good.
he's one of them. He's one of them. Yeah. Chris is fantastic. Actually, it was his movie Shadow Death that was shooting during Torment of the Witch and
Okay.
Centipede Strangler. His
Oh,
directorial debut
nice.
was raising the roof in those studios, and it made Torment of the Witch and Centipede Strangler these very weird psychosexual experiences.
The 3D printed hunting knife. It's 3D printed, right? The black hunting knife.
Uh, I mean, you know, I don't know. I have no idea if it
Okay.
must be. It's obviously fake. Yes,
Is there
yes,
just
yes.
one or is there multiple?
Oh, there's multiple.
Okay.
Um,
Interesting. Yeah.
that's another thing. So I'm really drawn to. I don't know if you're familiar with the works of Peter Brook. Peter Brook is a theater um, critic, historian of theater, and
Okay.
Brooke wrote this book called The Empty Space, where he talks about four distinct modes of theater. And
Yeah.
those modes would be, putting me on the spot now, holy theater, which is
Yeah.
theater that really holds to the script. Um, I think another one was, God, is it deadly theater? It might be deadly theater. It's deadly theater. I'm not really, I can't remember what deadly theater. Let me get to the, let me list them out first. But there's
Okay,
holy
sure.
theater,
Yep.
deadly theater, rough theater, and I believe immediate theater. And this is
Okay.
where I really get inspired by rough theater and immediate theater. I can tell you that holy theater and deadly theater are the kind of stereotypical theatrical experiences you might think about when you think about theater. Like, was there a script? Yes. Did they follow all of the lines? Yes. Is the audience sitting nicely? Yes. Did they watch it and then yes. Okay,
Okay.
that's one mode of theater. Rough theater, I'm very attracted to. Rough theater is the kind of theater where you can take a wall and you can have somebody step in front of the wall and somebody just starts acting. And they go, oh, I killed her. She's dead. And then suddenly people kind of turn and go, what the fuck's going on over there? And you go, it's the knife. You know,
Yeah.
it's in my hand, you know. That's rough theater. And then the crowd kind of gathers around that
Yeah.
and they go, wow, what is this? You know, and it's only thing holding it together is a sheet behind them that they maybe hung up. That's rough theater. Immediate theater is very similar. Immediate theater is the theater that's really unfolding in the moment, whether it's
Yeah.
improvised or not. But the whole point of immediate theater is that you don't know what's going to happen because it's very much of the moment that it's
Right.
happening. In that sense, it's alive. It's a living experience. Okay. And so when you look at something like my movies, I really, at the end of the day, have to stress this is their essence. That if you're going to play with me, then we're going to be alive today. You know,
Yep.
we're gonna play in this way, and we're going to make this kind of rough, immediate theater. But it's not theater; it's cinema. The camera is going to be the audience, but we're going to be prepared to show ourselves in our ugliness. We're going to rip the rubber mask off and maybe put it back on and duct tape it up. And we have we have a really stupid knife
Yeah.
that we bought, and we're going to use it in every movie. And it's not sharp. And so there's a weird dissociation there. So you see
Yeah.
the knife and then the kill, and it's odd and it's uncomfortable and you can't look away and you know it's fake. And you go, what is this guy doing? What is this? But in that for me there's some exchange
Yeah.
of life, and it's that Peter Brook idea of immediate and rough. Those
Rough
two
theater.
kind of
Yeah.
concepts, rough theater, immediate theater.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking more of this rough, immediate cinema, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm
Okay.
looking at. And then Killing of a Chinese Bookie, John Cassavetes. Um, I think if he was here with us today, he'd be kind of sitting here going, "Yeah, dude, like." Except he would be rehearsing a lot more with his cast. Um, but no, well, he would be rehearsing with the cast, but then in the moment, he would surprise them maybe, and he would
Yeah.
throw them off guard. Not like Kubrick. A Kubrickian stance would be, let's shoot this 80 times,
Hmm.
and in that repetition, I'm gonna drive you fucking insane because you're gonna have to do this 80 times, and 80 times is a lot.
Yeah.
5 times is a lot. 6 times, 80 times, you're going to lose your mind. I
Hmm.
mean, that's a masterful like manipulator as well. So I'm kind of on the opposite side where I go, this is what we're going to do. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Are you ready? We're going to do it. And if we don't do it once, we do it twice. But 3 times, rarely, if ever.
Yeah.
And the girls, they get it. The guys, they get it.
Mm.
They're looking to kind of just get wild sometimes. Like these verticals, these music videos,
Yeah.
to bring it back to these earlier points, they're not that creatively satisfying.
No.
And I can't really offer a huge payout. I can offer a very fair day rate,
Yeah.
but what I can offer is you're going to be a part of this weird, wacky thing. And if you want to be in it, okay. And if you don't, okay. I'll find somebody that does.
Yeah.
Because I'm also a producer. I can find somebody. Um, and so I'm always kind of playing that game of unpredictability, and it's kind of keeps me on my feet. I like that idea. I'd
Hmm.
like to do a live show at some point. I think I'd like to do this kind of like live in some weird room somewhere, and we'll just do a movie. Let's just do it in front of, let's just fucking do it,
Like a YouTube
and
live
then we'll
sort
see
of
what
thing.
comes
Yeah.
out. So do like a
Hmm.
live sort of thing.
Yeah.
But then I don't even want to call it theater because I don't have a theater
Yeah.
background. I have a cinema background. Maybe it'll be a failure. But to be prepared to fail and to be prepared to see yourself as being a failure, to me, it's always been pretty it's been humbling. It's been
Hmm.
humbling. So people who think like it's easy for me to act or this and that or perform or direct. No, no, no. It's not. It's just I've really faced up to my awfulness. I know I'm awful. I'm the worst of the worst, man. Like I'm very wretched, and I know that, and I can confront it, and then I can show it, and then I can be with it, and that's okay. And I can
Yeah.
make these things, and sometimes they're really beautiful, and sometimes they're not as beautiful. But they're always gonna be they're there, and we're
Hmm.
gonna market them, and we're gonna put them out, and we're gonna make them into something, and then we're gonna let that kind of live. Like creativity workshop,
Yeah.
dance to kung fu. I mean, what you're seeing there is like me unfolding into this like chaotic space as that goes on.
Yeah.
If you watch Dance to Kung Fu, you'll realize the kind of reveal
Yeah. It gets
of
more
that.
chaotic, I would imagine.
It gets more
Yeah.
chaotic and it ends in like a really dark way.
Yeah.
Um, but those shoots were really like fruitful, And some actresses and actors, they get it, they come out of it and they go,
Yeah.
"Damn, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you." And some people, they just go, "Hey, thank you, have a nice day," and they go on, and the next day they do something that pays 10 times the amount of money, and they
Mhm.
don't even think about it. They just don't think about it. Some people, though, they'll keep in touch with me and we'll do multiple movies, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
let me ask you, what do you have against Brian? Who's Brian? Was Brian a bully?
Well, no, this is a really this taps into kind of how this movie relates to other movies.
Yeah.
And so it's really wretched. I mean, Brian is this character Brian is horrible because he's connected to I did a movie called The Idaho College Killer, which was
Okay.
about the Koberger murders that happened. And that movie, there's only one way to do a movie like that, and
Yeah.
it's to for me, there was only one way to do a movie about that, which was to kind of take something that can't be made sense of, like a senseless murder. I think senseless murders can't be made. They're senseless. You're walking down the street at night,
Yeah.
somebody walks up to you and stabs you. Um, how can you make sense of that? You
Yeah.
know, like how could you like if that happened to like your friend or your partner or your
Hmm.
family, how could you be it's
Yeah.
incredible, it's insane, you know. And so in order to make a movie like that, I almost
Yeah.
felt like I had to kind of the movie itself had to feel almost like a crime.
Yeah.
The movie had to kind of tap into that serial killer criminality. So that movie has the same structure as these other movies.
Yep.
It's just awful, but it's very loosely based on the true events. Very, very almost threadbare,
Hmm.
just in the name. So the name, just to keep it as Brian, I
Yeah.
did that for a movie called The Mother's Eye. I think I called him Brian. Or
Yeah.
no, I'm sorry, not that movie. Boy of Your Dreams, which I recently
Okay.
shot a sequel for.
Okay.
But
And Robot
Boy of Your
Girlfriend
Dreams.
Revenge is Brian as well.
Oh, no, that's interesting. I see that. Well, that was the same shoot as Boy of Your Dreams. That's just one
Okay.
of those creative like connections, you know.
Yeah.
Um, that's like John Mahler, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, let's do another John Mahler movie, like a bad
Yeah.
girl movie. Well, it's the same guy. Let's just have it be the same guy. Well, it's funny because like on one of the movies we shot, the DP was Kevin Stevenson, who's a great director. He did this
Yeah.
movie, this horror movie you might like called Lady in the Urn. It's a
Okay.
very honest modern horror movie, and at one point in the movie, I think Chris Spinelli's character's on the phone and he references a doctor. He's like, well, "What's the doctor's name?" And I go, "I don't know. Just call him Doctor Stevenson. Call him Doctor Kevin Stevenson." And the DP was like, "That's my name," you know. And then so now in a lot of these movies, I'll just reference like, yeah, Doctor Stevenson, please, Doctor Kevin Stevenson. And I have nothing against it. Like he's a great
Yeah.
guy, but it's just like it's
That's
just
the kind of,
funny. Like
that's the
it's
kind of
just
thing I would
funny.
do too. So I get it. Like
Yeah,
it's funny. Yeah.
let's just like keep it going. Like who
Yeah.
cares? But the Brian was just an essence. It was an energy. It was a way for me to tap into this kind of nasty because I think certain serial killers and probably
Mhm.
that serial killer got a sexual rise out of
Right.
killing these sorority girls and
Yeah.
this you know uh and so I thought, well, if we're gonna tap into that in this kind of exploitation cinema kind of framework, then grounding it loosely in something like this is going to kind of make sense. And then a friend of mine who's also a screenwriter, author, and his name is Preston, and Preston is an expert in the works of Bill Landis, I believe his name is, who's this old grindhouse critic. And Bill Landis did a lot of work into these really video nasty movies in the 60s that would tap into like Manson exploitation and this kind of serial killer exploitation.
Yeah.
And honestly, on like a Hollywood level, we do this all the time. Like bigger budgeted productions tap into serial killer mythos all
Oh
the
yeah.
time.
All the time. Yeah.
But I do it in a way very threadbare, very loose, and I attack it in a way that's probably going to make you go, "Oh, like I kind of don't want to see
Mhm.
this. It's a little bit too much for me. It's a little bit off for me." But that's where my aesthetics would come into play, and it would come into play where I also really like Buto. Buto, Japanese Buto is this kind of dance form that the characters would empty themselves. They would paint their entire bodies
Mhm.
white, and they would just kind of move very specifically and very slowly, and their movements would become like almost like let's do a dance that captures being murdered by a serial killer. It's a stupid example, but let's do that dance. And the
Yeah.
dance wouldn't have to follow. It was very interpretive. It's very interpretive, and so there's no real way to do it. And so all of my stuff when I'm doing it is tapping into that. Buto's
Yeah.
sensibility, And so the killer himself,
Yeah.
when he's kind of people think, oh my God, it's so intense. No, 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 no. Me barely touching a woman's face in here is not intense. Intense would a real serial killer
Yeah.
would be absolutely ruthless and disgusting and graphic, and it would be very too much to show on any
Yeah.
platform. So the way I play with it is going to make you feel something, and that something could show you kind of something about yourself, whether you like it or don't like it or whatever. But
Yeah.
but Brian is kind of basically, there's like a connection between the movies I was making at that time.
Yeah.
Like if you asked me to do something now, I don't think I'd call him Brian.
Be like Kevin. Yeah.
It'd be Kevin Stevenson, be Chris
Yeah.
Spinelli, it'd be like maybe his name would be Ben. Maybe Ben is gonna have to make an appearance.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
But yeah,
work on your Canadian accent. Like,
I'm gonna
I'm
have
gonna
to.
kill
But
these girls, eh?
yeah, he's a Canadian serial killer. But you get it. You get it. It's a loose connection,
Yeah.
and who he is, he's no one, man. He's empty. He's
Yeah.
absolutely devoid of. So like Blood Rush was so Anatomy Lab. If you specifically want to mention Anatomy Lab and Blood Rush, one easy way that I differentiated them was Anatomy Lab is the thriller version. It's
Yeah.
the almost like police procedural version,
Yeah.
and Blood Rush is its horror counterpart
Yeah.
that goes off the rails. Oh, there's one more thing I wanted to say when I was thinking about talking to you,
Yeah.
which is there's this wonderful musician, Bonnie Prince Billy. I don't know if you've heard his work. He
No.
works in like kind of folk, not rock, but like he always operated in his own kind of ways from Kentucky, but he's very experimental in his own way as well. And I saw him play live when I was very young. And if you ever listen to his music, especially in his younger days, he would play music. And somebody once said this about his work at that time, which is the music sounds like it could fall apart at any moment. At any
Mm.
moment, the way he's singing, the way he's almost hitting a wrong note and then coming back to the right note, the way he's a little off and then comes back, much like how like a jazz musician will go off
Yeah.
and then come back. And
Right.
in that kind of going off and coming back, you're kind of perpetually off balance. And that's kind of an aesthetic that I've learned to embrace about, I think, my own way of directing. And when
Hmm.
I'm putting these together as I'm editing them, sometimes I want these to, or actually serendipitously, I think they always feel like they could fall apart at any moment. And so you kind of go, what? You're almost like always on the edge, and you kind of
Yeah.
go, God, it's gonna go off the rails. And then it's like he brings it back, and you go, what's he doing? And there's a really weird push pull there, at least for me.
Yeah.
But I just want to say that. But Anatomy Lab is the thriller version. Blood Rush
Yeah.
is the horror version, where he's like the nightmare space. He's the nightmare man with the paint on his face.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
something like that.
So before we get into the lightning round, I have one last question.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain the weapon from Guillotine for me?
Yes, I can. Can I? I'm waiting for this. But well, Greg, I don't know if he still owns the rights to it, but there's a movie called Master of the Flying Guillotine, which is a
Okay.
martial arts classic.
All right.
It's this classic. I think it's Shaw Brothers. It's got a great German krautrock soundtrack.
Oh, I
It's a
gotta see it then. I
fantastic.
gotta find that
It's
one.
fantastic. Yeah, he flings out this
Yeah.
guillotine, chops the people's heads off. It's a
Yeah.
circular device, the flying guillotine.
Yeah.
And we have act. Literally. Greg was like, "Dude, I want you to remake that movie." Or he said this to a couple directors, but I was one of them. Um, but then when it came time to shoot, I was like, well, I want to do bikini guillotine. So he gave me this little ring that had lights on it. It was really silly. And I took it, and one night I kind of looked at it, and I had the worms from Centipede Strangler,
I thought those were the same worms. I said it in my
the same
review.
worms. Yeah, same worms. And I just started taping it, and then I put the worms on it, and it became this thing. It just became this kind of monstrosity. It's very gross. It's really odd. It doesn't make sense, and it shouldn't make sense. And it became the bikini guillotine as people. And then Greg made this artwork that almost shows like this Native American dream catcher on
Yeah,
one
the
variation of the
poster.
artwork. And I think
Yeah.
some people were like thinking like somehow it's like a dream catcher or something. They're like, he's a Native American killer. He was psychic death. I don't understand it. It's like in actuality, it's just it's the bikini guillotine. There's nothing much I can say about it. Once
Yeah.
you encounter it, you're dead. It's already too late for you. And it specifically seeks out, beautiful women that it's drawn to psychically.
Or men that just happen to be in the way.
Or Brian Brewer, who's a
Yeah.
fantastic actor, and
That's where I was thinking the name Brian came from. Like you guys were teasing Brian one day or something.
I mean, we certainly could. Brian's fantastic. He's a fantastic actor. He's directed some movies as well in the
Yeah.
past. And you just meet these creative people and then you get involved with them somehow, whether they're a friend of a friend or the
Yeah.
production company knows them. And then you just find that certain people will resonate very well with your way of working. And,
Yeah.
Brewer's he'll just play ball.
Mhm.
Not everybody can play ball with me, but if somebody can play ball, we can really like make something and it can be interesting. I think he's legitimately I think everybody I shoot's legitimately good. Like I'm never
Yeah.
trying to make somebody feel like they're not doing a good job, but like I said, the wrong word is ugliness, but I like vulnerability. I like ugliness. I like the reaction that comes from something that's very real and it's very immediate. Like I
Yeah.
said, not to catch somebody off
I
guard in
think
order to make them fall on their face. That's
maybe a
never
better word
the
than
purpose.
ugliness in that case is raw. You like the raw.
The
Yeah.
raw, the rough, the raw,
Yeah.
absolutely. I like that. And if you can if you can open up that in yourself,
Mhm.
you could maybe go on to another shoot and you could do something fantastic as well. You could be a
Mhm.
better actor. I mean, I've literally learned how to act simply through just doing these things. Like
Yeah.
when I was editing Lazarium, I was like editing it with one hand over the computer and then and I thought, oh my God, I finally faced seeing my ugly face. And then Film Threat goes, oh my God, if only this guy would edit himself out of this movie,
Oh
it
no.
might be a movie. But he needs to edit himself out of it completely. And I was like,
Ah.
mm. I was like, well, that's all right. I was like, well, I'll just go do it. Like, let me go do another. I just think, it's okay. That's okay. They can say that. And it'll
Yeah.
always be, they gave it 0 out of 10. It happens. What am I gonna do? But I can't do anything. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
I can't go out and make something like, oh my God, everybody's giving this 5 stars, and I wouldn't even know how to approach it. What am I gonna do? I just made Robot and made Robot 2. I shot Robot Girls. I shot
Yeah.
Boy of Your Dreams 2. These
Okay.
are all to me. It's like, oh, these are good. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
these. They're fun.
All right, you ready for the lightning round?
So, what is the lightning round? We just quick answers.
Yeah, we do quick answers. So they're
All
easy
right.
questions. They're just fun stuff.
Okay.
So the audience gets to know you. It gets to know you a little bit better.
Let's do
So,
it.
what is your favorite horror movie of all time?
Possession by Zulowski.
That's one of my favorites too. It's one of the only movies that ever made me feel very uncomfortable watching it.
I'm going to answer these very subconsciously too, because
Sure.
the minute I said possession,
Yeah.
I was like Shining, Suspiria,
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Everything is kind of like rattling around.
That's fine.
But
Yeah.
let's just say, for sake of like beautiful horror,
Yeah.
that's like I go back to. Like I show every actress the Ajani subway scene. Every
Yeah.
actress.
Oh my
I go,
God. Yeah.
this is what I want.
Yeah.
Every actress. I mean, it's that and that's a cliche scene now, I feel in some way for people, but it's no, it's fucking amazing. And
It's
I show it to everybody. Like this is
yeah.
what I want. So they
You
go,
know what
oh
scene
shit.
really gets me from that movie?
Which
The
one?
scene with the electric knife when they're just like that
It's incredible.
horrific display of domestic violence. Oh my God, it's so visceral.
I It's so visceral. I saw it in the theater for the first time this
Yeah.
last year, and it was beautiful. If you ever have a
Yeah.
chance to see it on a big screen, it just feels right.
Yeah.
It feels right to see it that way. All right.
All right, number two. Favorite band or musical artist?
Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds.
Nice. All right. Toilet paper roll. Business in the front or party in the back? Hanging over the
What does
top
that
or
mean?
back hanging over the top or back behind?
Back behind.
Back behind. All right.
I don't know if I understand that, but
Hanging over the top is the
that's a
way
very
most people do
Canadian.
when it's coming down this way, coming down over the top.
Oh my God, hanging over
Yeah.
the top or back behind.
Yeah.
Um, it's just beside the toilet, man. I
All
just
right.
got like it's just sitting
That's a
there.
good answer too. Like that's the Marcus
What's
Tripp
that
answer.
off to the side?
Yeah,
What
hang
that's the what?
on the tank. Yeah.
On the tank.
Yeah. If you
Boom.
were
On the tank.
if you were a breed of dog, what breed of dog would you be?
Wolf.
Wolf, okay.
It's so stupid.
Ninjas are
Wolf. I was gonna say wiener dog. I was gonna say wiener dog. Maybe
okay.
maybe I'm a wiener
All right,
dog.
wiener dog instead. Gotcha. Ninjas or
Wiener dog.
pirates?
Ninjas.
Ninjas? All right, cool.
100%. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Marvel, DC, or other?
Other.
Other? Okay, which one?
Mhm. Comic books, that kind of whole culture I did grow up with,
Yeah.
absolutely. But I liked Ralph Snart. I liked,
Okay.
I don't know if you ever heard Ralph Snart.
I have. I
I
had
would,
Ralph Snart comics. Yeah.
I like Ralph Snart a lot.
Yeah.
Toxic Avenger, Toxic Crusaders,
Okay.
I mentioned Toxic Avenger earlier.
Yeah.
I again drawn to those kind of, I'm definitely well aware of all the others, Spider-Man, Batman,
Yeah.
all that shit. But I got into the other ones quickly, I think,
hmm
when I was young. That's
hmm
just pulled me. Yeah.
Adult beverage of choice, if you drink.
I don't really drink, but if I'm gonna drink, then I'll drink really hard. We're just gonna go straight whiskey.
Straight whiskey. All right.
Straight up whiskey. Japanese whiskey, I guess, would be good. I would
Yeah.
just go for a Japanese or just a Jack Daniels. I'll
Okay.
just if I'm gonna drink, we'll just drink hard.
Favorite video game.
Um, maybe Counter-Strike. Maybe
Okay.
Counter-Strike Source is fantastic. Counter-Strike 1.6. I don't have time to play video games much anymore, but
Yeah.
Minecraft,
hmm
some Roblox games could be really fun. Yeah, 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 yeah. I wish I was a little more video gamey, but I'm just not.
If you were a Pokemon, which Pokemon would you be?
Ball guy.
Ball guy? Which one's ball guy?
Mhm.
Oh,
He's a
Voltorb,
trainer.
the guy who's a ball. I know what
I
you're
don't
talking
know.
about.
Who would I be if I was a Pokemon? Now I got to
Yeah.
think of their names. What's the one's name? There's a purple one. There's purple ones. I can't remember their names right now. I don't know. I've got my kids made me some artwork on the wall. There's some that are like made out of trash and they're like
Oh,
really
the trash
trashy and
one.
kind of
Okay, the trash guy. I know who you're talking about.
you're like, oh, the trash one. I know exactly. I would be that, Ben, because
Yeah.
I am bottom of the barrel trash bin man. Just joking.
What's your favorite kind of pie?
Cherry pie.
Cherry pie? All right.
Hmm.
Excellent. Favorite color of static?
Pink.
Yeah, that's a Jamie Grefe
Mm.
question because I know that there's at least three. There's black,
There's
red, and
blacks.
pink. I don't know about if there
Mm.
are any more.
No. White. There's white
Okay.
static.
There's white static too?
Hmm.
Okay.
Black or red, but red, you don't want to go. You don't want to go into the red static. It's not a space you want to be in.
I've
It's
seen that movie.
not a nice space to be in. Pink
It's
static's good.
yeah. There's a
Red
dirty garage
static.
with the red static.
Red static's pretty fucking crazy.
And the
Black
last
static, yeah,
question of the
yeah.
lightning round.
All right.
Are you a foot guy?
I'm these days I think I'm more of an armpit guy, but yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah. I'm an all-around sensual
Okay.
doctor. I'm a doctor. I have my doctorate in sensuality. I'm FBI agent. Female body. It's so stupid. I was gonna get one of those FBI shirts. Female body inspector. It's the greatest job.
All right. All right. So let's talk about your upcoming works. So what do you have in the
Okay.
works for us, Jamie?
Well, the funny thing is today's March 10th when we're
Yep.
shooting this. Made Robot and Made Robot 2 just came out on the Cinema Epoch YouTube channel, both
Okay.
parts 1 and part 2. Maybe by the time this gets released onto your channel, Boy of Your Dreams Part 2,
Yeah.
which is I haven't done many killer movies recently, but that's a killer movie and it's very good. It has Elizabeth Rath. Well, if you see Made Robot or Made Robot 2, you can see the same cast members, but it's got Elizabeth
Okay.
Rath, who was in some Jared Masters movies, Easter Evil, The Nightgown, Feral
Okay.
Female. Some of
I've
these.
seen Easter Evil.
Elizabeth,
Was she the star of Easter Evil?
she's the star of Easter
Okay.
Evil.
I've
Yep,
seen that
yep.
one.
And she's in the Made Robot movies too. So if you check
Okay.
out Made Robot,
Yeah.
those are on Cinema Epoch YouTube channel right now. Boy of Your- and Victoria. Starodubtseva, who's this wonderful Ukrainian model, and
Okay.
so I worked with her. But Boy of Your Dreams Part Two.
Yep.
Then we have Robot Girls, which I'm gonna start working on like pretty soon. I already shot it, but I just didn't edit it yet.
Okay.
Got those coming up, man. Yeah.
All
So
right.
I'd say Boy Your Dreams too. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to put links for the folks at home. We're going to put links to Jamie's work on Tubi, the stuff that's on Tubi, in the video's description, as well as his website. And I think we can probably put the Cinema Epoch YouTube site
Yeah,
link in there as
that'd be
well, so you
great.
can see that
That'd
stuff.
be
Yeah, absolutely.
those three links would be fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So yeah, at least here in Canada, a lot of your stuff is up on Tubi. I imagine it's the same in the States too. So
Yeah, US Fossum. If you go to
yeah,
my website,
folks at home.
and just
Yeah.
full disclosure, it is Greffy, not Greff, but that's okay. Um,
Oh, it's Greffy?
you can go to,
Oh, I'm
it's
so
Greffy.
sorry.
That's okay, Ben. You can go to Jamie Dash Greffy. No, that's okay. You can go
Yeah.
to jamie-greffy.com. I put the collections there. So Tubi
Yeah.
collection, Fossum collection, YouTube collection, and I think Troma has like 10 of them now. So,
Yeah, Trauma's got a
um,
bunch. So
but I
for
do a pretty good job keeping track of everything that comes out on my site, just because
yeah,
I like to archive it and have it there.
I like to say this too to the folks at home for my Canadian viewers that it is very easy if you have a VPN to turn your VPN on to the United States and watch Jamie Greffy stuff on Fossum. We don't get Fossum here natively, but
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
yeah, I watch it using my VPN. I just set it
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
Buffalo and off you go, right?
There's a bunch of them there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tubi's the best in terms of like
yeah,
if anybody wants to really help the low budget content,
yeah.
try watching it on
They
Tubi.
pay
It
you the
does
most,
help. I
right?
think they do pay the most.
Yeah,
They are kind of the platform you want to try to get to
right.
as an independent, you know,
Mhm.
filmmaker. If you can't get to like Shutter or these other kind of platforms, yeah, get yourself on
Yeah,
Tubi. It's a good place to be.
perfect. All right, Jamie, thank you so much for joining me. I'm glad we could
Thank
get everything out there in the open and we could talk and discuss your work and your process. And I know a lot more about what goes into your stuff now. And I think that my audience will be really excited to hear what you had to say.
Ben, I've been
Yeah.
thinking about this since the day you reached out to me and was like, I want to talk to you. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, this will be fun. And then I was like, well, he's probably a nice guy. And I was like, he's definitely
I,
a nice guy. And you are a nice guy. So I really
thank you.
appreciate your criticism.
Yeah.
I really get, inspired when I see somebody who's really digesting and trying to
Yeah.
dissect something and really doing that. It's a breath of fresh air. It feels good. It feels fine. I like it. And I love it that you reached out to me and I'm really happy that
Yeah.
you did. So
Thank you. Yeah. And you know what? Getting more eyes on your work is always a good thing, right?
yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm happy to
Yeah.
talk and
Yeah.
this has been an absolute pleasure. I appreciate your
Perfect.
time.
Okay. Thank you so much. Just gonna stop
Thank
it.
you, Ben.
Thank you.